Meet the 9 Republicans who want to be House Speaker. Washington. Representative Pat Fallon of Sherman says House Republicans will determine this week whether they are capable of mustering the conference discipline required to elect a speaker and break the paralysis that has reigned since Kevin McCarthy's October 3. Ouster. Republicans will hear pitches from 9 of their members at a Monday night candidate forum before meeting Tuesday to winnow the field to a single nominee. Advertisement. Whoever that person is, we need an hour or two after that to go right to the floor, and that person needs to get 221 votes, and we can show the American people that we can lead, Fallon said. Advertisement rep. Mike Flood, R-Neb, has circulated a pledge for Republicans to sign vowing to support whoever wins the nomination for Speaker. Political Points. Get the latest politics news from North Texas and beyond. Email address. By signing up you agree to our terms of service and privacy policy. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. Submit. Skepticism is widespread that any of these 9, or maybe anyone at all, can achieve the near unanimity required. With 221 Republicans in the House, a candidate needs support from 217, assuming no absences. Here are the Speaker candidates and what they bring to the table. Advertisement. The establishment frontrunner House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, 62, is the favorite to win Tuesday's vote in a field that includes a number of backbenchers and newcomers. The Minnesotan has McCarthy's backing and is already the number 3 Republican in leadership, higher than any of the other candidates. Advertisement. He served 2 terms as head of the National Republican Congressional Committee, the party's House campaign arm. It's a job that involves raising piles of cash to help get members elected and collecting valuable chits along the way. Many of those casting ballots Tuesday won their seats with his help. Advertisement. At the NRCC, we fought side by side and worked for every inch of this majority in districts across the country, he reminded colleagues in a letter over the weekend. Emmer and Representative Austin Scott of Georgia stand out as the only 2 candidates who voted to certify the 2020 election results. The other 7 voted against accepting some of President Joe Biden's state-certified electors on January 6, 2021. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. Emmer's certification vote could help win over Representative Ken Buck of Colorado, who has made acknowledging Biden's victory a litmus test for his support. Advertisement. Buck was among the 25 GOP defectors who opposed the last nominee for Speaker, Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan. Citing the Ohioans' efforts to overturn Biden's election and refusal now to declare that Biden won, former President Donald Trump has been rallying allies in the House to block Emmer. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon has called him a Trump hater. The mainstream conservative champion Rep. Kevin Hern, 61, of Oklahoma goes into the contest with a significant base of support as chair of the Republican Study Committee. Advertisement. Hern described that group as the conservative conscience of the conference. With nearly 180 members, or about 80% of all House Republicans, he's been part of a group this year seeking to balance the divergent interests of the 5 major GOP factions in the House. He says he understands how to make people feel heard even amid sharp disagreements. He often cites his personal rags to riches story, describing how he grew up in humble circumstances before building a small empire of McDonald's franchises that he has since sold. People call me the congressman and trivialize my real-world experience because it's tied to the Golden Arches, he wrote in a 2020 piece for Fox News. Time equals 400 ms. Greater than. Advertisement. As a Trump loyalist, Hern may face some mistrust from other factions. The ultra-conservative champion Rep. Byron Donalds, 44, of Florida is a darling of the far right and a member of the House Freedom Caucus, home to many of the chamber's most hard-line conservatives. In his 2nd term, Donalds is by far the most junior member of the field. Advertisement. He'd be the first black speaker in American history. Some Democrats have cast Republican love for Donalds as tokenism. Donalds is not a historic candidate for Speaker. He is a prop. Representative Cori Bush, D-Mo, posted on X in January, when holdouts to McCarthy repeatedly voted for Donalds. Despite being black, he supports a policy agenda intent on upholding and perpetuating white supremacy. Rep. Chip Roy of Austin praised Donald's qualifications while nominating him on the 4th ballot in January, touting his track record as a businessman, state lawmaker and in Congress. Byron Donalds is a good man raised by a single mom, who moved past adversity, became a Christian man at the age of 21 and has devoted his life to advancing the cause for his family and for this country, Roy said. Advertisement. His Freedom Caucus base gives him a floor of support that also could scare off the more moderate and establishment parts of the conference. Representative Ronnie Jackson of Amarillo has announced his support for Donalds. Byron's record is stellar, and he's laser-focused on enacting a strong conservative agenda, Jackson posted on X. The Texan. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Rep. Pete Sessions, 68, has served the longest of the 9 candidates, although he left Congress for 2 years following his defeat in 2018 to Representative Colin Allred, D. Dallas. Advertisement. After that loss, Sessions moved to his boyhood town of Waco and won an open seat. Like Emmer, he has chaired the NRCC. His own tenure included overseeing the 2010 midterm landslide, in which Republicans picked up a net 63 seats and booted Nancy Pelosi from the Speaker's office. Sessions is circulating a letter to other members touting those electoral gains. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. On Fox News, Sessions said Monday House Republicans are badly lagging Democrats in their fundraising and he can help turn that around by pledging to raise $50 million. Advertisement. We've got to catch up, Sessions said. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. As former chairman of the House Rules Committee, Sessions also has a deep understanding of how the chamber operates. The Texas delegation has 25 Republicans, the most of any state, which would be a potent force for Sessions if he had their united backing. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. While some members of the delegation held out hope for a consensus Lone Star candidate, that doesn't appear likely. Advertisement. The lawyer and podcaster Rep. Mike Johnson, 51, of Louisiana is vice chair of the House GOP conference and a former head of the RSC. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. As a longtime constitutional lawyer, Johnson has defended in court conservative laws on marriage, prayer and abortion. He also has shown media savvy that would aid his job as chief messenger for House Republicans. He and his wife have a podcast called Truth Be Told. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. Advertisement. Johnson backed the bipartisan deal to raise the debt ceiling earlier this year, but voted against the September 30 stopgap funding measure that averted a government shutdown, the national security hawk. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. Rep. Jack Bergman, 76, of Michigan served 4 decades in the U.S. Marine Corps, retiring at the rank of lieutenant general. Bergman's pitch is rooted in the need for someone with a national security background to guide the House at a time of global unrest. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. Advertisement. He has cited the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the conflagration in the Middle East as he argues Republicans have to break this stalemate quickly. The regular functioning of the federal government can't wait on useless infighting and arguments, Bergman said in a statement. What matters right now is choosing a speaker in order to make sure that our government, and particularly our military, is funded, and that both our homeland and our critical allies are secure in this time of crisis. His strong support for Ukraine aid will not sit well with members opposed to sending another penny to assist in the fight against Russia. The runner UPrep. Austin Scott, 53, of Georgia ran against Jordan after House Majority Leader Steve Scalise dropped out of the race. Advertisement. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. The last-minute challenge by someone without a national profile was widely viewed as a way to let anti-Jordan members register their opposition, now making a real run at the job. Scott highlights how he supported Jordan after losing that internal vote. He appealed to others to play by those rules. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than. If we are going to be the majority, we need to act like the majority, and that means we have to do the right things the right way, Scott posted on X. The moderate Rep. Dan Muser, 59, of Pennsylvania is a member of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, which makes him arguably the most moderate contender. Advertisement. He voted to raise the debt ceiling earlier this year and for the September 30 stopgap. Those votes would cause significant heartburn for conservatives. He is the former president of a company that made motorized wheelchairs and previously served as the state secretary of revenue. He was elected to Congress in 2018. That makes him an unusually junior member to seek the Speaker's gavel, though still senior to Donalds. Time equals 400 Ms. greater than Advertisement. The policy wonk Rep. Gary Palmer, 69, of Alabama is head of the Republican Policy Committee, the advisory panel that helps leadership sift through legislative ideas. Palmer started out in the private sector working primarily for major engineering companies before diving into the conservative policy world. After working with Focus on the Family, he launched the Alabama Family Alliance, which later became the Alabama Policy Institute. He was president of the group for 24 years and a founding member of the board of directors of the State Policy Network, an umbrella group of like-minded think tanks. Advertisement. Palmer was elected to Congress in 2014 and has focused on energy policy.